You wake up early. Your calendar is full. Your day is packed with tasks, messages, and responsibilities. And yet, when the day ends, it feels like nothing truly moved forward. You were busy, constantly doing something, but meaningful progress stayed just out of reach. This is the illusion of productivity. Modern life rewards motion, not direction. Answering emails feels like work. Attending meetings feels important. Checking off small tasks gives a quick sense of accomplishment. But activity isn't the same as progress. Being busy can actually become a way to avoid the harder work, the work that requires focus, clarity, and uncomfortable decisions. So you stay occupied. You stay reactive. You stay in motion. And over time, busyness becomes the mask that hides a deeper problem. You're doing many things, but not the right things. This chapter isn't about working less. It's about noticing when movement has replaced meaning, because until you question what your effort is serving, no amount of effort will ever feel enough. Most days, you're not choosing what to focus on. You're responding to what demands your attention. Notifications decide your priorities. Other people's urgency becomes your schedule. Your time is fragmented before you even realize it. This is reaction mode. Instead of moving your life forward, you spend your energy putting out small fires, emails, messages, requests, minor problems that feel urgent but rarely matter in the long run. Reaction feels productive because it's immediate. There's always something to respond to, something to fix, something pulling you away from deeper work. But when everything feels important, nothing truly is. Over time, reaction mode trains your brain to avoid focus. Long-term thinking becomes uncomfortable. Silence feels unsettling. Stillness feels unproductive. So you keep reacting, mistaking responsiveness for responsibility. The cost isn't obvious at first, but slowly your best energy gets consumed by other people's priorities while your own goals remain untouched. This chapter is about awareness. Because the moment you notice you're living in reaction, you gain the power to pause and decide where your attention actually belongs. There's a subtle trap that keeps you busy for years without real progress. It's not laziness, it's not lack of ambition, it's movement without direction. You fill your days with activity, tasks, errands, obligations, plans. Your calendar looks full, your energy feels spent. But when you step back and ask, what actually moved my life forward, the answer feels unclear. That's because not all motion creates momentum. Busyness gives the illusion of progress. It keeps you feeling involved, needed, productive. But activity without intention slowly disconnects you from purpose. You start measuring your days by how tired you are instead of how aligned you feel. Over time, this creates frustration. You're doing a lot, yet nothing meaningful seems to change. And the danger is subtle. You stop questioning the direction because you're too busy moving. This chapter isn't about slowing down for the sake of rest. It's about recognizing that speed doesn't matter when you're headed the wrong way. Real progress begins the moment you stop asking, "How much can I do today?" and start asking, "What actually matters right now?" Only then does motion regain meaning. When everything feels urgent, nothing feels important. Your attention gets pulled in every direction. Messages, notifications, requests, expectations. You spend your days reacting, responding instead of choosing, putting out fires instead of building anything lasting. And slowly, your priorities disappear under everyone else's. This is how busyness steals focus, not by overwhelming you all at once, but by training you to live in response mode, always answering, rarely deciding. You start your day with good intentions, but end it wondering where the time went, because reacting feels productive. It feels responsible. But it quietly prevents deep work, creative thought, and real progress. Nothing meaningful grows in fragments of attention. Progress requires space to think, to plan, to decide what deserves your energy. This chapter is about noticing how often your time is chosen for you. The moment you pause before reacting, the moment you create even a small gap between stimulus and response, you regain control. Busyness thrives on urgency. Clarity thrives on intention. And the shift begins when you stop letting the loudest thing decide your day. At some point, being busy stopped feeling productive. You were doing more, but moving less. That's because real progress was never about speed. It was about direction. Progress isn't how full your calendar looks, it's how clearly your actions connect. Most people confuse activity with advancement. They measure success by how exhausted they feel at the end of the day, instead of what actually changed. But real progress is quieter than that. It feels intentional, focused, almost boring from the outside. It's choosing the one task that moves everything forward and letting the rest wait. It's measuring days by outcomes, not effort. This is where the shift begins, when you stop chasing motion and start valuing alignment. You don't need to do more, you need to do what matters. Once progress is defined correctly, everything else starts to fall into place, and for the first time, forward actually feels forward. The goal was never to do everything. It was to do the right things, on purpose. When you strip away the noise, what remains becomes obvious. A few priorities, a narrow focus, work that actually moves your life forward. This is where calm replaces chaos, not because you escaped responsibility, but because you stopped carrying what was never yours. Your days no longer feel rushed because they're no longer overcrowded. You move slower, but you go further. Each action builds on the last instead of competing with it. This is how momentum is created. Not through pressure, not through hustle, but through intention. When fewer things matter, your energy multiplies, and suddenly progress no longer feels forced. It feels natural, sustainable, aligned. You didn't need more time, you needed fewer distractions, and once that changes, everything finally starts to work.